and you can continue your family history. Oh, I can't hear you now. Yeah, now you were on mute, so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy that I can be heard because I think this conversation is important.
Very important. You are heard. You can be here now. I heard now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I said I hail from a community called Bonye, which is located in district number 2. And my parents migrated to a nearby community. Eventually, they brought us to Banga to go to school. Because at an early stage, my father missed out on school because his father died very young while he was young. So from the childhood, he committed himself that whenever he has children, he was going to make sure the children go to school, be it a boy or a girl. So in Banga, I started my early primary education. Again, he was a servant. He started as a farmer, a hunter. Eventually, he became a pastor and a builder. So he was moving, he was evangelizing and all of that. So everywhere he would move, those of his children who were young would move with him, and the older one would stay in Banga and go to school. So that's how I moved with him to Kokata, to Firestone, because he was working with the churches there, establishing churches. So we used to walk from there to school in Kakata. Eventually, I went back to Banga. And then when I completed high school in 1986, I went in Monrovia. I wanted to develop some vocational skills.
Okay.
I attended City Commercial Institute. I attended the Royal Institute for Secretarial Science. And then I got hired by the Bong mining company. So I worked at a port as a contractor. So during the Civil War, I went back home, Banga. And then in Banga, I provided some voluntary service to people in the war, particularly mothers who were having sick children. So we were at a church, and whenever they came, the children were not well or the mothers were not well. I would join them, walk with them to go to Phoebe or to go to where they can access, health service nearby. And so I was kind of busy with that until I joined the CRS team as a volunteer.
Okay.
They were distributing food. So I was supporting the team, making sure that people who needed food had access to food. And eventually I got linked to the Development Education Network. Prior to that, I kind of joined a women group called Women in Action for Rehabilitation and Development.
Okay.
And this group was established in Danane and eventually came to Banga. Okay. And they were helping women to develop skills, helping to prepare women, more in home arts. Okay. So then I just had my last daughter, and I remember taking the 3 of them. I said, I'm going to develop skills with my 3 children.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. My baby, then around 2 months, and the walking child and the older one will leave the house every morning.
So you had the younger one on your back?
The younger one went with me. So the 3 of us would go. And then while there, there was a group, now is Development Education Network. But before that group was formed, they had a link with a group called the Jesuit Refugee Service.
Okay.
And it's a Catholic group. Okay. So they had just returned from Ivory Coast and Guinea, and they were providing a space for meeting, creating opportunity for people to begin talking. Right. What kind of Liberia they want, even though, we thought the first phase of the war had ended in 1997, So they were inviting different social groups to a meeting, but every time the people organized meetings, no woman went to the meeting. So every time, and they did it several times, women were not going. So they started reflecting, how can we get the women on board? So they decided, let's get women-specific meeting. Let's call women-specific meeting.
Yeah, a meeting for
ask the women
maybe.
themselves. Yeah, and ask the women themselves why they don't come to meetings when we call.
Right.
You know, so that's how they went to the women group I was working with, and 2 other women's groups. So they got about 42 of us, all women. So they took us to a 1-week session to look at our situation as women and analyze for ourselves what are the issues holding us back. So in that analysis, you know, we highlighted many things. Some people were not up to high school. Some people, they didn't even have primary education. Some did not have, you know, not looking presentable, you know, to get out there and talk to other people. So therefore, when you call them to a meeting, they don't have anything good to wear, so they won't go to the meeting. Some had too many children around them, nobody to leave the children with. So those were genuine excuses they were giving. But again, if you want to move ahead in life, there has to be a way that you would try to balance that with your own personal development. So from that process, we made recommendation to the team, you know, in ways to help us move forward as women. And I clearly remember we said organizing literacy classes for women so that they learn how to read and write. Because when you go to a public meeting, those are some of the challenging things. When they ask you can't write your name and you can't write your name, you feel humiliated. You know, you don't have anything good to wear. So the women started asking, can you help us to establish what we call loan of grant for us so that we get involved in business? We can make business and generate some income. And then they say, organize women's development training for us so that this kind of meeting, we will have time to sit down as women and analyze our own situation and see how we can move ourselves forward. Tony, I didn't know the facilitators of that meeting were really spotting up potential women among us. Wow. They collected 10 of us. And they said, we want to train you so you can work with your colleagues. So that's how my own training started. And I started with that group. It transformed itself into the group now in Liberia called Development Education Network Liberia. So I started with Daniel as a volunteer. And I used to again carry my 3 children to that training. All right. And I will go for the training, and after the training session, then I go and work with the other women from the same women organizations we came from. Right. So after that, I volunteered like 14 months. 14 months. After the 14 months, I volunteered with Daniel then. With no pay? No pay.
So when you had 3 kids then, so how were you surviving?
Family people. Okay. Listen, it's an interesting story. Okay. And when we built our pathway through politics, it's good for us to let people know that things are possible when you commit yourself to them.
That is true.
So I had some family people who were very, very supportive then. Good. And the learning itself, the context they created for us to learn was very interesting. So every time I went to that learning session, I felt inspired. So I was able to stay there until later on, they started giving us compensation. Okay. Eventually, I became a facilitator that the institution employed, Daniel employed.
So you're putting some of your training now to work.
Oh my God, I started becoming a facilitator. Great. And I started monitoring programs. I started helping to do reports. I started helping to do social analysis. I started visiting communities to speak to women. So I grew up from there, from that level of becoming a volunteer to that group to becoming the executive director in 2010.
For then Liberia?
For then Liberia. Okay. So, and that group is a national organization that works in all the counties in Liberia.
Liberia, that is amazing. And so what are some accomplishments now, when you were the executive director, what are some accomplishments you want to share with us?
Well, the group is an interesting group. When we started that group, we had 2 Irish nuns who used to help us to do proposal writing, fundraising, you know, help to train us. Eventually, some Liberians were sent, some of our colleagues were sent to other countries to acquire some level of education. Okay. So they came back, they were helping us. But when I took over, by then we didn't have those support. So I had to work with a team on the ground to see how we can mobilize resources. I'm telling you from the beginning, it was really tough. It was hard from the beginning, but it became a successful story. Because when I was transitioning, I left the organization in better situation than I met it.
In good financial health.
Good financial health
as structures into place. The programs were running.
NGOs are struggling in Liberia to survive. But I left the institution in a well-off condition than I met it.
All right.
I supported the capacity building of a number of staff. It became a priority for us. And our training center, we improve it. And we play more prominent role in advocacy than we did in the past in the county. And then even our global connection became vivid, at that time. So it's an institution that I still have very much strong connection with. I'm still serving after I left the post of the director.
Yeah.
I'm now the general specialist in our institution, but I appreciate working with our institution. So that's a little bit about it. So in terms of education, my high school education was in Banga, St. Martin's Catholic High School, 1986. I completed secondary school. And then I did my BSc in Kimmich Development Studies Center in Ireland.
Ireland, in Dublin, right?
I had opportunity to study there, to do my master's there in development studies.
Okay.
So besides that, I've had a lot of opportunity to do certificate diploma courses in Liberia and out of Liberia.
Or in the field of development?
Yeah, development related courses. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That is very impressive story you have right there. I hope the people of Bong County listening to their sister and daughter who is fortunate to have gotten this training and is willing to use it to help provide better representation at the Senate. So let me progress. So you are starting this journey to represent the people of Bong County in the Senate. And the question is, what is wrong?
Well, just before I get to what is wrong, let me tell you that this quest, the first time it came to me was 2009. That community people, the groups I have worked with, community women, came to me and said, Dorothy, look, the training you're doing will make more sense when you play more decision-making role in this county.
Right.
So we want you to get involved. But we had this transition. I was about to take over the organization, right, and I wanted to build my own capacity. So when I weigh this, I just say, you know what, this is not the last election. We can still have a future, right, to venture into politics. So I kind of took back. But over the time, given my work and the level of exposure I have had over the years, there are a couple of things we need to improve in Bong County. Lots of things we need to improve in Bong County. If I think of myself as a woman and how I came forward, I think women's development is something we need to prioritize together with youth development. Okay. Our country in Liberia has a youthful population.
That is true.
And to have a youthful population that we're not really paying attention to, I think we are missing out. Okay. I think we need to strengthen that and help the young people to develop skills that, not just any kind of skill, but skill that will make sense in our context in order to be able to increase their own contribution. Even women, there are lots of women out there. When you go to a meeting, 2-3 women there, sometimes they don't want to talk much. When you ask them, but you people have said everything. Sometimes those are some of the things you hear. But if you take your time and explore from those women. The ideas you get from them are ideas that will help that group to move forward. So I think in order for Bong County to move forward, we need to have a kind of gender-sensitive person who creatively know how to dive into people's experiences and skills and bring together so the strength that are there to be able to move Bong County forward. Look at transparency and accountability.
Okay.
It's very weak. I mean, corruption is historical in our country. We don't get report on what happened to our county resources. Even the way projects are identified, some of the projects are left in the grass. We build structures that nobody use, and money are sitting in those projects. So it comes to say, how are we identifying the projects that we later leave abandoned?
But I was
That's
thinking
something wrong that I see. I think we need to do it better, and I can.
Yeah, madam.
I can play a critical role in helping the county to identify projects that they will cherish. Projects.
Yeah, I want us to do it like this. Before we get to the projects, you have expressed your interest publicly to represent your people in the Senate. The first thing I want to get clear from you, do you know the responsibility of a senator in terms of better representation? If you do, what are they? What will be your roles? You need to understand what you're getting into.
Well, to become a senator, as per our constitution, requires that you support lawmaking, that you make laws, right?
Right.
That you make laws in the interest of the county and the country.
Okay.
That you have oversight about the processes and the systems of the country, and then that you also represent your people, meaning that you are going back and hearing from the people what the issues and concerns are, and you are feeling that into parliament, and you are using that to lobby and advocate in the interest of the people. And you're following agreements that are being made, social agreements, contractor agreements that Liberia is making with other partners, that you are following that very closely and making sure that it benefits the country and your county. So these are all elements of lawmaking. So
talking about lawmaking, Madam Director, talking about lawmaking, that when you get there, you will be making laws. Do you have in mind some laws you think that you can make, maybe some bills that you're thinking about that will not only benefit your people in Bong County, but the entire country that you want to share with us?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Some of them have been working or supporting different groups or collaborating with different groups to work on, are not just limited to Bong County. They are about Liberia. Okay. It's about moving Liberia forward. Under the last administration, the whole decentralization policy influenced the setting up of the County Development Fund and County Social Development Fund.
Okay.
And therefore, a budget law was developed to guide how that fund is managed. This is one law that we have been trying to change to improve in a way that Liberia benefits not just Bong County. In a way that those kinds of spaces, when they come, we use them wisely. And when we go into history, our unborn generation, when they are here, they will be saying, oh, it was through the Social Development Fund that our people were able to do 1, 2, 3. So this is something that I as a member of the Development Education Network and other network members, civil society members, we have been working on. And let me tell you, 4 years ago, we started this initiative up to now. We haven't arrived at where we want to be at.
And that's that is something you would pick up, or should you be
that's
blessed enough to
win the
Senate?
We need to help colleagues at the level of the House to understand why it is important that we do it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the way it is, are there issues that you have with it that you want to see improve, or is the law is okay, but you just want it to be implemented?
Well, the law, from my point of view, is not okay. It can be strengthened to benefit the Liberian people.
What are the things you don't like about it?
Well, the lawmakers they influence the decision making so much about the county development fund. Mm-hmm. They influence it in a way that most of them have their own contractors that they give contract to, okay, and they give the money. They monitor the project. You know, it's like everything is tied around them, and they select.
No, continue.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a mother.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, so I'm very sorry for that. But again, my little boy wants to be around to follow up what is going on.
It's okay.
Can I?
Yeah,
so I mean, that law can be improved. Okay. If we allow ourselves to improve that law, Bong County and Liberia will benefit more from social development funds and county development funds. And what the initial discussion we started, if we say each county should be able to have a percentage of what it raises and use it, those kinds of law can make it more viable. Otherwise, those monies just end up into a few persons' pocket, and then we really don't have the benefit of that space.
So, madam, what I'm getting from you, hold on, what I'm getting from you is that lawmakers having a role to play in the expenditure and the spending of the county development fund is totally wrong, and you want to see that change.
Well, the intent for that county development fund was to give the local people space to participate in their development processes.
Okay.
So if that is going to be at the level of the lawmakers, then it doesn't, in my view, achieve its objective.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your argument is that lawmakers only make appropriation. They don't have any authority to carry on expenditure. So once they've done their appropriation, they should leave it with the local authorities to execute the project, and they provide the oversight.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not just saying it, but there has been an audit. I think 2012, there was audit done around the country on the funds, and there were lots of recommendations made because of the malpractices that was identified in the audit.
So earlier you were talking about oversight, and this brings me to the accountability. Also, you were talking about transparency and all that, and I think that falls on those falls on the oversight responsibility that you will be executing should you win. How will you do it differently? We everybody said they will do it. They get there. We don't see that happening.
Yeah, everybody said they will do it, but to have oversight means you following up with the different sectors and the system that are the local and the national, right? In Bong County, what are the different sectors in the country? The agriculture sector is there. What actually is happening in that sector? Right. How is it happening? What needs to be improved? Go to the education sector. What is happening there? How can you take recommendation from what is happening on the ground and project it into parliament so that laws or allocations that are made during the fiscal year can address the needs on the ground? Go to the health sector. Currently, one of our major hospitals is temporarily closed, as I'm hearing. Okay. If this is true, these are sectors that people need to understand what is happening. What's the reality of the people who are in the sector or those who access the sector, so that or services in the sector, so that you're able to project credible and doable recommendation from them to Parliament, so that their condition can improve on a gradual basis rather than declining.
The hospital issue you just raised is major. Where you if you were in a Senate right now, will you be able to call the authority in charge of that hospital to explain to you what is wrong, why there are challenges? Is that something you would do, to get information as why the hospital is down?
Yes, this is something I've worked with them.
Okay,
I've
good.
worked with all the different sectors. Even at the national level, I gave them some support because when the Ministry of Health was training its community-based trainers, it was the institution they kind of linked with me, to give them facilitate or to offer the training to them. Because, being a health practitioner doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to work with community people.
Okay.
So they wanted skills in community entry, and we had to organize that for them. So I know how to work with people. I have skills and passion in working with people. So I would better fill that gap and help the county and the country to move towards achieving the desired result.
One of the things that you are looking at for better representation at the Senate for Bong County and Liberia as a whole is something you refer to as respecting others. Explain to us what you're trying to accomplish with that.
Anthony, respect is a small word, okay, but it has a lot in it. Okay. And over my short experience in working with people, in terms of my own lifetime, respect does a whole lot. Okay. In my county, I think we need to work hard to respect each other, that's one level, but also to respect Bong County. To also respect Liberia. Because these spaces, or if we look at Liberia as a space, it's a great space that we have. Liberia is such a beautiful country that we have. I mean, those who have traveled to other parts of the world will agree with me that the country is so naturally, you look at the topography, you look at the resources, you look at the population, small country, lots of resources. Why not we respect our country? So respect for me is critical. And this is why even when I talk to people, I try as much as possible. Even if I disagree with you, I will still respect you. It doesn't mean it's going to affect my disagreement, but it's going to create space for us to have a better dialogue about what I disagree on.
All right.
So I think if we promote respect for each other, not just that, but respect for county and country, we're ready to move Liberia forward.
So
because
why are you emphasizing the respect for Bong County, for Liberia? Are the current officials, maybe people in the Senate, are now respecting Bong County, and you want Bong County to be respected, so you want them out?
Many times when I listen to some of them on the radio, I sometimes I just want to listen to something else. Yeah, I think we can do more. As Liberians, as people of one heritage, we can do more. We can disagree. I don't have, I'm not telling people that you have to follow people when you don't agree with their idea. But you can still respect people as you disagree with them.
Okay. So you want to be senator for Bong County. I know this question sometimes is the tough one. Why does it have to be you? Why are you not supporting somebody else? You can do it better.
Why, especially at this critical time, Dorothy? Because Dorothy has the skills, Dorothy has the experience, Dorothy has the potential, Dorothy has the passion. Dorothy knows how to bring people together. I have peace building background. I got gender background. Meaning I know that our social groups, we don't have one category of people in Liberia. Mm-hmm. We have different categories of people, and their needs and concerns are important for our development processes. We came from a civil war, 14-year civil war. People still carry the wounds on them. The scars are vivid. How do we begin working so that, people will find strength in themselves and also increase their contribution to the development process? Dorothy has the background to do that. Right. I've worked with, in my work, I was fortunate to work with people with long-time land conflict, even in civil war, people who suffer a lot. But through our different engagement, they found out that, hey, I have this scar on me, but I also have a future. And I have a community and country that I need to contribute to. So with all the grief, they were able to rise beyond it. Myself, for example, I had all my children during the Civil War. For me to rise from that level, to be able to reach to where I am, it has been because I tried to put some things down and prioritize certain things.
Thank you.
So Dorothy is a better candidate coming in this election. That's why I agree with those who have seen this in me long since. I said 2009. People have seen it and they continue to talk to me. All and right. It's interesting. My husband and myself, we thought to contribute to the NGO sector. In that way, you're close to your people. But over the years, we've seen that the political platform is strategic. And if you have people of goodwill, people with passion to serve the country and the county, and they occupy those positions, they do better. More people benefit from what they do. And this is why I'm opting, to stand up in this 2020 election.
All right, let's look at a field in which you're trying to run this contest. Henry Yala, there are some people in Bong County who believe in him and support him. And some of them believe he's doing a good job. He is somebody from your county. Why you think that he needs to be replaced?
Well, the county is such a great county, and these kinds of positions are very, very important. Honorable Yala, I respect him highly, but we gave him a term to serve. He served for like 9 years, about. We need to give somebody who understand the context, who is coming from different angle, like myself.
And you think he doesn't understand the context? You think he doesn't understand the context?
Well, so we have seen what he has done, right, in 9 years.
Okay.
And I think that can be improved, and I can add value to what he has done.
So you are telling him, take the exit door?
He should even support me in moving forward.
Wow. Okay, folks in cyberspace, you are watching Focus on Liberia. We are having an interview with Senatorial Aspirant from Bong County, Madam Dorothy Toomann. She's running. She will be a candidate, she said. She wants to represent the people of Bong County at the Senate. That is the seat that Henry Yada occupies. She's saying Henry has had his time, and better representation is needed at the time. Right now, maybe Henry did not do well enough. If you don't mind, there are some issues that many Liberians care about, and I would like to get your take. Let me see if we don't have a caller first. Okay, we don't have a caller yet. So let me ask the question, and then I'll read some of the comments so you can respond. Dual citizenship is a key thing. Here you are in the U.S. I believe you have friends and family here. Many of them, or some of them, who have acquired citizenship, so that they can be better position here. They might want to go to Liberia tomorrow but the way our laws are, as we know, they might have some limitation. Do you support dual citizenship?
Well, let me approach that question this way.
Mm-hmm.
Liberia's experience with people in the diaspora and Liberia has been a difficult one. Historically, I'm referring to our history. So, like the country has been treated like there are a group of people who got their farm and they go on their farm at a certain time and they got their real home somewhere. Mm-hmm. So when they get sick in Liberia, they go to another country for treatment. When when they get resources in Liberia, they take it to another country to bank it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this engagement over time have made people to develop attitude like the diaspora, people being in the diaspora is not a good idea. But I think for Africa to move forward, including Liberia to move forward, we need our diaspora citizens. And we need them to do it differently. We need our diaspora citizens because people left our country. Some of them, they didn't even plan to leave. Mm-hmm. Say our own civil war. 14 years, we decided to fight. And some people say, you know what? I can't be in this thing. I mean, I went exile 7 times, Anthony. I will run and go Ivory Coast. By the time they say ceasefire, I'm back in Liberia. I will run and go Ghana. By the time they say ceasefire, I'm back in Liberia. People were fed up with all kinds of things. And they decided to find another option. So they are here. They have gotten some level of exposure, skills, and potential that I think are very important for the nation building. But like I said, respect for homeland, respect for county and country, all of us need to encourage ourselves, be a diaspora citizen or like people living at home. We need to treat our motherland like a motherland. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, there's going to be no diaspora because we are important for the health and well-being of our common heritage, which is Liberia. As if you look at the remittance Liberian in the diaspora send back home, it's a lot of money that they send because they care. They got families there. Besides that, they got their ancestral graves there. So I believe the diaspora is a great potential that we have.
All right.
But we need to draw it together in a way that we don't repeat that history of taking Liberia to be a farm, that people can go there and do anything. The things they were not doing in the diaspora are what they would want to do in Liberia. We need to do it differently.
All right. Thank you. Another thing that comes to mind is both presidential and legislative term limits. Where do you stand on those?
Well, I know most of the time when people are arguing, I hear people say, you know what, the country doesn't have money. And we can't be having election every 4 years. And so, but I think the country have to all allow Liberia to move forward. And we make laws, we have to be able to abide by the laws. There are quite some things we need to strengthen in our own constitution. 9 years. 9 years. And sometimes people get complacent when they get 9 years. They think the 9 years is forever. Mm-hmm. Then after the 9 years, you see, it's like, 9 years was just yesterday. But I think whatever we need to do, including even the terms, senatorial terms or presidential terms, to help this old nation of ours to move forward, we need to do that. Because see where we are at today, and we all the nations that Liberia accompanied in independence, most of them, if not all, are ahead of Liberia in everything. I mean, people get sick in Liberia, they go to Ghana for treatment.
Dorothy, do you want the presidential term to be reduced to for the Senate and the House of Representatives, if you want it to be reduced, how many years will you recommend?
Well, this is one thing I will need to consult. I'm very, very good at consulting. And I like for us to look at it together and say, you know what? These are the pros and the cons. And then based on that, let's do it this way. I know some people talking about reducing the presidential term to 4 years and reducing the Senate presidential and representative term to 4 years and the Senate term to 6 years. So there are different ways that people are looking at it. And we need to look at it from a very fair point of view. Why is it that people are looking at it that way? Is it that long, they just saying it's long? Or is it that the people who are filling no position are the one that are not delivering? Because even if you make it short and people don't deliver, what essence would that make? So I think the issue, we need to really explore it further and point out the figure, identify the issues, and see as a country wanting to move ahead, where do we need to put our strength and energy? Is it just about teaching our law to make it full and leaving the attitudes and behaviors and not commenting on them that take us to where we've been forever? Mm-hmm. Because let me look at it this way. Suppose we have very productive leaders who are doing everything to move the country forward. And all most of the population were happy with them. Would they complain about the time? So that's why I'm saying, yeah, we need to look at it from different angles.
All right. And see. So for you want to look at it from different angles. Let's come to this. In order for you to be senator, you have to go through an electoral process. We have a big house called Election Commission. Do you trust that institution? Do you trust the electoral process? You think it will be fair, free and fair?
Well, I'm hoping that the elections will be free and fair. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that the people who the country is trusting to play this role will do it in the interest of our dear Liberia, mm-hmm. because we all know the history of election when it's not free and fair. So I will hope and I will encourage them to do their best. It's about service, mm-hmm. to country, service to motherland. Let them serve in a way that Liberia emerge as the champion in this.
All right, thank you. We have a caller, and person is Sese Goya. Mr. Goya, welcome to Focus on Liberia, according to the issue, my brother.
All right, thank you, Anthony. First thing I want to say thanks to the studio guest. I think it's about time that people who have worked in the interest of Liberians without boasting about it rise up to that, and I think my sister has done that. Just real quick, I was in Liberia about a year ago. I can attest to Den El. I came from Lofa from burying my mom. We got in Banga at night trying to look for a place to stay, and most people refer us to the guest house, to Den El guest house. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who spoke great things about Den El, so I want to say thank you for being a funding partner in that. Now, having said that, I grew up in Bong County. I went to school in Balatwa and in Banga and in Fidi. So I want to raise a few things here. Where do you stand on war and economic crimes, given that Banga, having been declared as the headquarters of the National Patriotic Front, became a center for devastation? A lot of warring factions came in there, fought in there, killed a lot of people, looted a lot of people, and damaged a lot of stuff. Where do you stand on that? Number two, where do you stand on salary limitation for legislators? Number three, I know you spoke about dual citizenship, but you beat around and talk about the importance of the aspirant citizens. I want you to really answer in just a yes or no if you can. Do you support dual citizenship in Liberia? And then the last one, but not the least, how do you look at trying to limit government interaction or legislative interaction when it comes to appointment to community colleges and the use of development funds. Again, thank you so much for stepping up. It's about time that people who we don't usually hear their names in the news step up to help the people. I appreciate you. I'll take my answer off the line.
Thank you. There are a couple of them out there. Thank you so much for these very important points you've raised. Community colleges in Liberia. Generally, I would say our community colleges should be supported, should improve, because I've listened on the radio. I was in Buchanan doing training, and I was following the one that was there. It needs to improve. Professional people must be allowed to do their professional work. I think what we're doing also, where we're missing out, is this. We want time. I know everything is political, right? We are political beings. But if we trust people with roles and responsibility, let's give them the space to do their work. And as somebody with oversight, you can go and, ask one or two questions. You can work together to have audit. If it requires recommendation, fine. So I think all the community colleges would need the politicians, to give those responsible for the colleges to function. In particular, the Bong County one. The Bong County one, has been a disservice to the people of Bong County. We still have not been able to put up a graduate. And I think that's unfair to the young people. We haven't been able to finish this community college. Sometimes in December, I had to join a team that is on the ground to do their final assessment so that they could be accredited by the National Midwifery and Health Nursing Board. And that's just one department. So we need to do more. We need to see our young people graduating from college. Graduation, it motivates people. There's reason why across the world people value graduation. But if we decide our sons and daughters will go to Bone Technical College and be there for 9 years or say 10 years, are we expecting the ordinary people to send their children to that college? It's going to be hard because you send your first child to the college. The first child stay in the college, you don't even know their status. And the second one is graduating from high school. So these are some of the reasons the young people are piling up into the mining area and they are riding what we call in Pempen in Liberia because they got to survive. I think a lot more need to be done with the technical college in my home in order to make it functional, in order to make it realistic, to serve the people. The college location is embarrassing. And right now, before I left Liberia, the president of the college was just talking about finding a land for agriculture college, for the agriculture department, So I was like, why is it that we squeeze this building in a little tight place and then now we're trying to look for space? So we're not thinking too much into the future when we make these kind of decisions. In some places you go, just a primary school. It got enough space for people to move around. But this is a technical college. And I know they are already challenged with car park. The space is very, very narrow. They don't have place to do practical in terms of agriculture and all that.
But land shouldn't be an issue in Bong County. Why is this little space being used for a technical college?
Again, it comes to decision making. If people who are making the decision are not looking too much into the future, and sometimes it's about, I say it should be done, let it be done regardless of what.
All right.
Then it becomes, if it's about a power issue, you're not looking too much into the future, and then you're making critical decisions. Nobody's going to move that college.
All right.
But probably maybe in the future,
raise a
what
lot
we
of
have
issues.
to do,
Raise a lot of issues.
Can be part of the high school, then we look for a real place for the college. Maybe that, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Sister raise a lot of issues, so address them short.
Salary,
So we can...
I go for salary deduction, straightforward. Work record. I think people should be responsible for their action.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Let me read some comments here. And then let's see here. Let's start from top. I got this gentleman by the name. I saw more here. Jeffries, which party is she affiliated with? I like her. So somebody who likes you or want to know which party you are affiliated with. A.B. Kekula, Yala, the outgoing honorable surely need to support you. This person, right? Logan, sorry if I'm Dada Logan. Thanks, William. These people don't know their role and they can't articulate it. They are non-humanitarian provider. They are law makers. I think that person is making the point that lawmakers, all they do is carry on project instead of making law. This person with a very long lane, law, give me more grace. That's the person name. Wow, that's my prospective development oriented honorable senator. Somebody is blowing your trumpet right there. Devina Cole, please ask the aspirant about the video with Thomas Yala, Thomas Fala, Samuel Twe, and the dancer. So there was a program I think they were trying to dedicate Bwekube Avenue, and Samuel Twe and Thomas Fala. It is a female cultural dancer who are performing dancing with her back as our sister or mothers would do. And these two gentlemen had the courage to go and tap on her behind. That person want you to comment on that. So I am kind of lacking this aspirant. The term is not the issue. Deliverables are. So that person is agreeing with you that term might not be the problem. Delivering those things that you're supposed to deliver as a representative or senator, the person said that's why matters a lot. So the person doesn't care if the person is in power for 18 years. I'm not sure you are sure of that. Salary limitation are not the issue either. Deliverable, the same Moa is talking about. Moa again reducing the salary, but electing those who are unable to deliver will not help. Okay, let me progress here. Yeah, so those are a few comments. You got some questions there. Let's start with the one, Samuel Twe and Thomas Fala tapping the woman behind while she was performing her job. You are a general development expert. Where do you stand?
Well, sorry, but I didn't see it to be able to really make my own contribution from what I saw.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but how it was done, because sometimes traditionally when people are dancing, they kind of dance, and you kind of pat their back. Right. So I really don't know how it was done. So please permit me not to make comment on it until I see it.
All right, I will leave it there. Then let me bring in this caller. Caller with phone number ending in 7562. Quickly to the issue.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, my name is George Campbell. I'm calling you from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
And I got like a comment to make, no questions.
Okay.
My comment is in regards to the question that you asked, that why is it that you want to replace Yala? This is my comment on that direction. I'm from Bong County. My name is George Campbell. I know Senator Yala very well. He's a brother of ours. He's a family man, a great guy. But when it comes to the work of being a senator, that he doesn't know how to do that. So for that reason, we have to replace him with one of our sister also. And the replacement is sitting right there in your studio or wherever she is. I don't know. but she's the best candidate to do that job. Senator Yala is a family man, and everybody knows that. But the work that he was told to do for Bong County people, he has failed off massively. So we had to point that out. That's all we're trying to replace him so that our county can move forward. That's my contribution to it. And I want to say thanks to the aspirant, continue to push the message out there, and people are listening. So thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. Madam, somebody asked a question. What party are you affiliating with? You want to respond to that?
Well, up to this date, we're still consulting with different people, and we might make that decision if we will join a party later, but for now, we're independent.
Okay, independent. All right, let me bring in this caller. Mr. Amos George, you are live.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong, and thank you to Ms. Toomann. Yeah, let me make this clear. I support Ms. Toomann. Clear. I support her.
Okay.
So now I have a comment, then I will end up with a question.
Okay.
Let me say this to the people of Bong County. Senator Yala is one of the divisive people in Bong County, along with Prince Moyo and the rest of them. Senator Yala was one of those who were advocating for the division of Bong County, to divide Bong County. Why was he doing that? If this man is a senator who's supposed to unite the people, why was he advocating to divide the county? What was the reason? If he's delivering, why was he doing that? He was doing that because he had not delivered. And his intent was to divide the county so he could be the first senator for the young Bong County, the Bong range they were referring to. He talked about Lower Bong had not benefited. But Senator, yeah, you've been there 9 years. What have you done for Lower Bong County? You don't want to champion that cause for the people of Lower Bong County. I'm from Lower Bong County. And I was one of those who advocated that Bong County should not be divided. What we needed to do is we had to go back to the drawing table and look at the resources and the equal distribution of the resources to the area. That was needed to be done. But Senator Yah was one of those who were advocating for that. That's one of the reasons I said that Senator Yah should not be voted. Secondly, what has happened to the scholarship fund of Bong County? Can they explain? No. Third, what do it take to build a junior college? 10 years, you cannot put a graduate of an institution. Junior college. What happened to the money? This happened on former Senator Joel Howard Taylor, who is now vice president, and Yarden. The premier, what happened? What has been the counterpart to the country that they deserve to go back for a second chance? I say to the people of Bong County, it is not time you wake up. You have been down the road. It's not time you change that path, that road. These people have not done anything. The Bong County Legislature caucus, how many times they met during even the COVID-19? How many times the caucus met to discuss the fate of the people of Bong County? Yes, CB hospital was closed down because nurses were getting air from the hospital. Somebody died. They told somebody that they could not, the hospital was closed. What have these people done to deserve to go back for the second time? These people must not go back. And I'm telling people of Bong County, it's not time. You open your eyes. We cannot continue to sing this old song, the same song over and over. They will only come to you people when time for election. When you re-elect them, they're gone. Now you will not see them. And I'm saying to the people of Bong County, it is not time. We should not give these people the political power. The time is over. Let it go. Let us bring in some new breed that will change the direction of this country. Reason. Because somewhere I had called Bong County. I spoke to people. Asked about her character. Everybody that I spoke to, including some journalists, told me she has a record that nobody can challenge in this country, and she is the one that the people of Bangladesh should carry. It was based on those issues that I decided to throw my weight behind Mr. Toomann. And as long Amos George, we will do everything in our power to make sure this woman is elected to become the senator of Bong County that will deliver. Having said that, yes, my question to her.
Okay.
All what I said. This is my question to you, Madam Aspirant. This dual citizenship, I want you to answer directly from your own belief, not consulting people. But what you think as an individual, personally, if you had your will you support the dual citizenship? I don't want to think, I got to consult people, but you, as an individual, you can speak. What is your position? Yes or no? Will you support the dual citizenship? That's my question to you. And thank you, madam, and I will continue to support you.
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, Judge, for your willingness to join our team. But I believe there is strength in unity. And for me, part of my leadership is about relationship building. It's not just about an event, it's about moving into the future and living that relationship with the generations that will come. I support the dual citizenship. This is one of the reasons that I take my time. Nobody pay my way to come here when I come to attend Bong County meeting. I pay my way and come here because I know you people are major stakeholders of that county. But where I have my problem is people treating the county and the country like the place is their farm. That they will not, they will just go there and do things that they know will not bring will not contribute to peace and development in our country. And there are some of us who chose to be there. Some of us would have gone and lived in other countries too. But there's always a place called home. And I think people cherish that. And what I'm encouraging you people to do is not to do business as usual like some of the diaspora people have done it, because I know great diaspora people here who heart is home every day.
Madam Toomann,
yeah,
you continue to say the way some diaspora people treat Liberia, like a farm. I mean, those are strong words. I don't believe that there are some Liberians that treat Liberia as a farm. It is their right to live wherever they want to live, and it is their right also to go to their home country, maybe stay a month and come back. Is that why you're referring to treating Liberia as a farm? If it is not, what that is, just be brief.
I pointed to the history, right? I pointed to the history. If you look at history, this Liberia here has not, even from the leadership level, I know well, when you bring our colonization in it, the group that headed this country was like, we go home. Well, United States, for example, is our real home. So investment and monies that were generated from here, they take it out and go invest it in other countries.
Okay.
Why would leaders now build JFK to the standard that when they are sick, they access treatment from JFK? Why would leaders not put Phoebe Hospital at a level where they can send their children to get treatment? Okay. But they keep money in other countries, so when their children get sick, they send the education system, for example. We got Beaufort High School and other high schools, St. Martin's and Medley High School. Why is it that we're not subsidizing or we're not building the public schools where it is a public school in a way that our children can go there to school? But we want to, it's about the way people have treated the country over the years. And when people are talking about it,
it's one of those like people in government, like some senators and some government officials, they send their children abroad to go to school, but they are working in Liberia. Liberia is paying them. That's what you're talking about?
And some in the diaspora too. I know you talk about Liberia, people have their different angles of it, but I have always told them that country can be better, and that country is waiting for them. Their contribution is critical.
All right.
We're talking about AU, the African unity. How is it going to move forward if our diaspora people, citizens, we ignore them?
All right. Let's look at this. Right now, we have a popular senator called Darius DeLong. He Now go with this thing called light. He's the light. And he said in the Senate, there was complete darkness.
Sorry,
And so
sorry, 1 minute. There's call kept coming in. Let me take hello, Josh. You can hear? I'm on a line. I'm doing the interview now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, go on. Sorry about that. I'm so
that's
sorry.
okay. So I was saying, when DeLong was running, he was able to identify a problem. And he said the Senate was dark. And by that darkness, he made corruption and, many ways you can, explain that darkness. And the solution for him was light. And now he's known today as the light. What is that problem in the Senate that you know? And what would be your solution to that?
Well, problem in the Senate. Problem in the Senate.
Yes, that you know.
I think I agree with kind of the Honorable Dillon that a lot of things happen in the Senate that at the county level, at the community level, people don't have that information.
Okay.
And I think more information needs to be shared from that house to the people. Otherwise, what is the representation there? If decisions, critical decisions are being made and people don't know, and people really don't know what is happening in a house, going back to your people, informing them, or at the national level, reacting to that supposed to be a way to improve communication in our house. Yeah. Right. And this is one thing I also support that I would do to help people to understand what is happening in our Senate.
All right. Somebody, William Kim writes, my thought is that a senator should pass laws. Why emphasis on humanitarian work? I think he's making the point that we see most of our lawmakers, they are trump card to getting elected, or when elected to get re-elected. You see these people, they're building school, they're building hospital, they are building roads. And if you look in our constitutions and you look at the responsibility therein for our lawmakers, it says nothing about these people being involved in humanitarian work. Are you going to be different?
Yeah, because I think part of the reason why it's like that, I don't know their specific reason, but in a county and in a country, we have a lot of potential. We got people, we got groups that people can liaise with, collaborate with in partnership to do certain things. So somebody mentioned the thing about the scholarship. When the whole issue of Madam how you call it, Swakoko scholarship business came for, some of our recommendation, particularly what I recommended was that the county finds a viable institution and let them be responsible for the scholarship. Then people in leadership, the politician can have that oversight. They can follow up and see what's going on. But it was not possible. So there are people you can liaise with to do those pieces of work. But again, if the politician feels that it's about self-promotion, they will want to put their hands on everything. But now that they are not people. In Bong County, I know there are credible organizations that can even add value to what is happening in Parliament, especially with our parliamentarian at the county level, and make Bong County move forward. But how do you tap into those resources that are available? Maybe it's some of the skills that needs to be improved.
All right. There is one of my viewers here who is almost like giving an advice. He said, Mr. Moderator, please ask your guest to stick to answering the question. She sounds like a good and formidable candidate. She needs to please answer the question. So the person said, you seem to be a good and formidable candidate, but the person is suspecting that you're going around the question.
I have to go around.
To be direct. and answer.
You know, I have to go around. For me, yes or no answer doesn't really, you know, you say yes and give reasons.
Okay.
You know, to be exploitative, yes or no answer, you have to look at a different side of the divide.
All right. Okay, madam.
Sorry,
Time,
I mean,
time is not in our favor now. I have two final questions for you. You like the idea of decentralization. There are some people who are saying our superintendents and mayors, is about time that they are elected. And some people are saying it's about time also that the way we do budgeting in Liberia should be done on the basis of county. And by that, it means for each county that has a county status, for example, let's say let allot maybe 100 million to that county. Then the county officials decide how they spend that money. Is that something, if come to the floor as a legislation, that you will support and vote for?
Again, I think the last speaker will comment on this again.
Okay.
But I want to take you, before I answer that question, let me take you to some of our key documents in Liberia.
Okay.
We have the interim poverty reduction strategy. Then we had a poverty reduction strategy. We had the decentralization policy. We have the Vision 2030. In these documents plus more, if you look in them, it emphasizes that over-centralization is part of Liberia's problem. Everything centralized in Monrovia. You got entire country, but everything about that country is centralized in Monrovia. And those documents, why consultation was done, and people realize that if you continue to centralize governance or governance structures and processes, we're not going to move ahead. I agree with that. We need to decentralize. Okay. We have to be able to decentralize. The more we decentralize, the more we get people who decisions affect involved in the making of those decisions.
All right. That will do it for me. But this one too, somebody is paying attention. This person is Gako Moa. He writes, Aspirant, if you were on CNN, will you pick up your phone during an interview? Is this the respect you spoke about earlier? You want to respond to that?
Yeah, let me respond to that. Well, this is why I said excuse. And I have this phone, and this call kept coming over and over and over. That's what I said. This call kept coming to me over and over. So I asked for excuse to take it. And he felt offended, but I had already said, excuse me, in order to do it.
All right. Gakon, he's saying his call's not going through. Gakon, the number is on the screen. You call that number and you enter the code. You should be able to come in. Let me bring in the final caller and then we'll call it a day. Mr. George Toto got something on his chest. Mr. Toto, quickly, you have a minute, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I thought you were coming to join on my call. Let me say thank you to let me say thank you to the Senatorial Aspirant, just for the record that I'm supporting Honorable Ambassador Jeremiah Slaughter for the senatorial seat.
Okay.
But just to ask the question of, you keep talking about the Aspirant Liberia. I want for you to focus on more in addressing some of the problems in terms of the dual citizenship, where blame are being shifted. Instead of trying to fix our policy, to strengthen our laws, and that will prosecute people who are corrupt. Instead of people take resources out of Liberia, wherever they take it, they should be able to trace that resource and bring it back. So we try to strengthen our justice system and some of the institutions like Liberia to prosecute people to push strong policy. I think that should be some of your advocacy also too. Okay, when it comes to Bong County or Sis Dorothy, the issue of upper and lower Bong County is a key problem in Bong County political fight. If elected or senator, what will you do to try to diffuse that tension between the upper and lower Bong County.
Thank you, sir. Well, like I said already, I'm coming into this initiative with wealth of skills and experience. So, and considering the value that personally I have for unity and how I think that can translate into supporting a better county, I'm gonna work with the people of Bong County, be it lower or upper, call it whatever county. For me, each community matter, whether it's in Bong, whether it's in the area they call it upper, or it's in the area they call it lower, each community matter, and each person in our county also matters. So I work with all. I will make effort to work with everybody, including those who disagree with me. I mean, I like your declaration that you supporting my brother, Honorable Slonte, but it doesn't mean we can work together. That's my background, and probably that's part of the thing. That's part of the thing I also need to strengthen in moving forward, because in disagreement, you get a lot of understanding, you get a lot of learning, and we need to hold together as a nation. The issues are what we need to find and deal with the issues. I always say to myself, if we divide up one country 10 times, and we have leaders that are not committed to Bong County, it's still going to be that 10 Bong counties underdeveloped, you know. But if we have a united Bong County and we are committed, and Bong County matter, that's why for me I say Bong County first, and I prioritize Bong County in all I do. And if this is translated into actions, for me, there's no need to divide Bong County.
All right. No need to divide Bong County. Let's have one Bong County and develop that one Bong County so that Bong people will be one. That's her message. We are at the concluding stage, but I can't let you go without asking you, are you proud of your country's standing as a republic in the world? And are you also proud of your government, your current government, in terms of its performance?
Well, government, let me start with that. If you have a population of such that we have, and that great percentage, what was it? The percentage, I come to it, and decide, say, this is who we want. We are selecting this our president because we believe in this president. One of the things I remind myself on always is, Dorothy, do what you can do to make this government successful. Do what is possible, that not just the government, but the country. It's about the country. Support in whatever way you can support to make sure your country is successful. And I think all of us need to work with with Ambassador George Manenwia. He's our president. We've elected him. We must be willing to work with him. This does not mean we can't disagree. There will be actions the president will take that we will disagree on. For example, when the curfew thing was put in place, it was like, let's have the whole country down this way. My proposal, which I made public, was in order for us to space and have the social distancing, rather than everybody coming at the same time in the same hour, let's spread it over time. That didn't work. But I made my suggestion. It doesn't mean that the president will not say some things that I will defer with, but I think President Weah is the president of the Republic of Liberia. And what I can do to support Liberia that this president is heading, I'm willing to do it.
So are you proud of your country's standing? Are you proud of where Liberia is?
When it comes to my country, Liberia, Hasani, for me, Liberia, we just need to improve that country. But Liberia is one of the best places in my mind on earth. It is our attitudes, our practices, the way we handle things that got Liberia today out of us frowning. But the moment we start to organize ourselves and change our attitudes, those attitudes that undermine our motherland, Liberia, we will see the beauty. Drive from Monrovia to Cape Palmas. See nature, the brilliant country our master, our God gave us. The country is so beautiful. Don't talk about going to Lofa Way. It's so, look at our coastal line.
So you are proud of Liberia?
Look at I'm so very proud of Liberia, but I think sincerely we got to improve the country we call in Liberia. This does not mean I'm not proud of my country. You know, I went to places, when I went to study in Ireland, some of the students that went with me stayed there. And sometimes I can't help, oh, my sister, you already here. Why you can't stay here and get your paper? I say, you know what? Motherland Liberia. And I think we need to organize in a way that we can be more proud of Liberia. We've shown the negative side of Liberia, including Bong County, for a very long time. Let's begin to show the beauty that we have in it. Go to Padawi. I mean, there are places, go to Monima. These are beautiful places and you will enjoy it. But before we leave this interview, let me say another thing.
Yeah.
Now, I have said that I'm not in any political party for now. My supporters have been very, very helpful. Let me say hats off to you guys. Older men, young people, women who have been supporting me, both from the diaspora and back home, family members, my husband, who has been there from the beginning and continues to be there, my own children, and all of you, friends, well-wishers, wherever you are. We've come this far because people use their own money to do what we want to do. And I want to say hats off to all of you. We still got a way to go. I'm currently here in the United States. I'm organizing a fundraising event on this coming Saturday. Those of you who believe that Bong County and Liberia can be different. And for me, every little support counts. I really don't have to go to one person and say, oh, give me all the money. Because along the way, what I'm trying to do is to build relationship for post-election. I need to talk to people. I need to get in contact with each one so that we're building our social capital for a better Bong County. So this event is going to be here in the Central Park in Minnesota. And on Saturday, we're going to be there all day. Call in. It will be good to know you if you're around here. If you're not here, I mean, just know that we are doing it. We are going to set up a Cash App account, but for now, we have a Cash App account that we are using. We're also working on a website because if we want to do things differently, it will be difficult, but we have to do it because we think that by doing it differently, we'll get different results. So as soon as we set up the website and other donation, including donation section, you will have it available. And we will keep uploading it regularly with updates in terms of reports on what we do. So my contact, you have my contact. Can I call it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So my contact number, if you are outside, is +1 763 339 12 43. So I'm calling my contact again. +1 763 339 1243. The cash out number that we have set right now is 763 291 1075. So we count on your support. Let me call that cash out number 763 291 1075. So we encourage you to get involved, and these kinds of platform, maybe some people will be watching this interview after we have concluded, but please get engaged. Ask me. For me, I actually appreciate dialogue, and if questions are too difficult that I don't have statistics on, I can just let you know that I will address it in the next interview or so.
Thank you.
But let's keep engaged. I'm open to that. Even beyond the elections, I want to remain engaged. So thank you so much for the space given me and Sonny to contact my people once again. I count on you. If you need a better Bong County, you want to work for a better Bong County, I'm available. It's about service to my county and service to my people. So I'm making myself available because I think that platform will give me that opportunity to serve Bong County and my people. This is the main reason why we are in this race. Beyond it all, we say a better Bong County is possible. A Bong County that all of us can have a space to benefit from what we have. So again, let me say thank you for the space, and I hope we can get involved again one day.
Madam Dorothy Toomann, we want to say thank you for making yourself available and explaining yourself to your people, especially the people of Bong County and Liberians across the globe, about your intention to represent our country, especially Bong County, as a senator to provide a much better representation. Like we said earlier during the show, where else can you or would you rather go other than focus on Liberia when you have your eyes on a Senate seat? Whereas with you, would you like to go on other than the hour of politics when the position for which you are here is about political leadership? I think you came to the right place. I think you answered the questions we have for you, and we want to say thank you. We wish you well in your journey. To our viewers who follow us here at Focus on Liberia, we want to say thank you for following the broadcast and listening to our sister, our dear mother, who wants to provide some leadership at the level of the Senate for the people of Bong County and the Republic of Liberia. We will be in touch with you. During the campaign time, you can come again. We can do another interview. And so that the people will continue to hear your ideas and how you can provide a better representation. Folks in cyberspace, we cannot thank you enough for always following our broadcast. Please like our Facebook page. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our shows can be uploaded there. If you miss it live on Facebook, you will get that notification only if you subscribe to that YouTube channel. That way, you don't miss anything that we bring to you here. This is what we do. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. And our sister, our dear mother, being a Liberian, we thought to promote her ideas about a better representation for Bong County. My name is Anthony C. saying on behalf of the entire Focus on Liberia family, thank you for watching. Madam, we thank you for coming. Keep up the good work. And I know that if it is God will, it will come to pass. We are living with this song that says, we are all Liberians. And that's the song we are closing with. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so very much.
Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Either you raise it or we want. Liberia. Either you Bye.